So the second part of this talk is very interesting. It's again, a lot of activities will be there. It's all about knowing, okay, Rajbhai, we are impressed about whatever you have said about Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism. We want to know how many books of Hinduism are there. People talk about Puran, people talk about Upanishad, then Vedas, Mahabharat, Ramayana, Yoga, this, that. What is the relationship between them? We are confused. So what we are saying is don't get confused. You have a person here who will simplify it very well today. So basically, the first question comes, this universe, remember we started our journey with the universe. So this universe, it has two sides to it. One with the physical form. Whatever you see right now in the physical form, it exists. You can feel it, you can touch it. That's the one. But then there is another universe which is inside us, our mind, our brain, and that we call is inner universe. So two sides of this, outer universe and inner universe, or spiritual universe. So the two sides of this universe, if you want to understand this universe, right? Say, understand this whole universe, what it is made of. So modern science has developed laws. So what is a law, right? Look at all the kids, look at this ball, right? I throw it, comes down, why? Gravity. I throw, comes down, gravity. Like that we have Archimedes principle, like that we have Bernoulli's theorem. Modern science have developed laws one after another, physics, chemistry, mathematics. All these laws are there to understand how this universe functions, right? The materialistic universe, the outer universe. So should there not be the laws for the inner universe? Right? If these are the laws, what kind of laws these should be, right? Like if I'm throwing like this, it comes down, that's the law of gravity. So why, how my mind works? That is the question, right? Should there be law about my mind? And this is where it comes completely different way. The way you understand this universe, how this universe works, basically our mind right now, minimum we are saying 60 to 70,000 thoughts are being generated in our mind. For the 16 hours we are awake, one thought per second, one thought. That is the level of activity going on in our mind. So if I say something today, right, I say, you need to be quiet or calm. And you will say, what does that mean? Quiet and calm is good. But if I say, if you pray to this Lord, this is a good thing and this is the law, you will find peace. You say, how do you know that is what you're saying is true? Because I have 60 to 70,000 thoughts going in my mind. So whatever I am saying, how can that be a law? How can that be always true? How there will be my own intuition, my own knowledge, my own thing is embedded into it. So if I want to develop the law from my own mind, how do you separate my own Raj versus the true reality, right? This is the question was asked thousands of years back, our rishis. How do you come up the laws with this mind, right? Which will be always true for this inner universe. And this is where they came up with a very good technique. Look at this. See this here. Our mind is like this, dirty water. Right now, can you see what's inside this bottle? You can't see anything, right? Because so much cloud, so much thought, so much impressions are going on. Impressions of past, imaginations of future. But if you clear this thing out, now you can see what's inside, right? Like that, in our mind, we don't know what is the ultimate nature of our mind. What is the underlying reality of our mind? Nobody knows. Unless you figure it out a technique, how to quieten your mind from this to this. And you need to develop a technique. So what we do is, we develop a technique. So what you have right now, this is my body, right? And then I have my sense organs, which are my tools. Right now, my eyes are looking outward. My ears are hearing noise from outside. My mouth is tasting outside. Everything is outside. And this mind, which is continuously churning in thoughts, right? So you can use the same tools. What the ancient scientists of India discovered, that using these 5 sense organs, if you close them from outside, turn inward, start looking inside, and that's where you come up with the laws of your own thing. And this technique of turning your own mind inward is called yoga. Yoga is nothing. When you turn inward, you look inside, you dissect your own mind, what you will find is this inner mind is connected with the whole of the universe. So you join the outer world with inner world, and that's where you find the real peace. And this technique is called yoga, right? So what is yoga? So basically, so now we go into the quick demo, right? This is yoga. So basically you get confused. Oh, there is bhakti yoga, there is japa yoga, tapa yoga, dhyana yoga, and jnana yoga, like beer yoga these days, dog yoga these days. Like there is endless yoga. What is yoga, right? This is the question was asked many years back, 2,300 years back roughly. A person came in existence called Patanjali. He looked at all the yogic system, all the techniques of yoga before, and by the time Buddha already was there, so Buddhist technique and everything, he said, I will develop a very simple structure to this understanding this yoga. He called it 8 steps or 8 limbs of yoga. What that simply means is this. So 8 steps. It starts with yama, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So 8 steps. What that simply means is, right now, remember what did we say? 70,000 thoughts are coming in my mind. So to quieten your mind, I'm giving you a lecture like this in yoga in just 2-3 minutes. You're grasping the whole yoga here. Nobody will explain you this simple method, okay? So what is happening there is, the first thing right now, if you don't follow certain code of conduct like external discipline, right? If you start stealing things, if you do violence, more thoughts will come in your mind. So naturally you need to shut that thing down, right? So this is called yamas. And we have another thing here, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, yama. So what is happening there is ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truth, speak truth, non-stealing, brahmacharya, celibacy means conserve your energies, and aparigraha, don't accumulate too much, because if you have too much accumulation, then also it's a problem. So in the first step of yoga, you have close, everything will join dots. Remember, I'm very good at it. What I'm explaining you, it's going to join with all these books very soon. So pay attention your mind to me, right? So yama, all you're doing is making sure you are doing non-violence or anything, you're not doing that, no stealing, and all this kind of code of conduct external. Then comes the next step, which is niyama. In niyama, what you're doing is literally soch, santosh, tapah, swadhyay, ishwar pranidhanani niyama. What that simply means is you are cleanliness, having content in your life, and you are doing austerity. If you want to achieve something, you can sit down and you are able to basically focus on things. Swadhyay, you're doing self-study, and then focusing on something called supreme, which is in this case a idol, or you can focus on something else. So basically what I'm summarizing to you in these 2 steps of yoga, this particular step is saying external, this is internal types of thing. After that you sit down. Sit down means sitting down, you're making your back strong, making your whole posture strong. So postures. So when you are able to sit, the whole yoga, posture yoga you see today, they are only limiting yoga to posture yoga. It is only 3rd step. All it says, you need to be able to sit for long period of time. After that, you're turning pranayam, means breathing techniques, using breathing techniques, curtailing your pranas, your energy, subtle way, bringing your mind subtle way in your sense organs. And after that, what you do is pratyahar. What pratyahar is, 5th step, you are literally turning you remember what did I say about sense organs? They're outward. So you are turning them inward now. Your eyes become microscope inside, ear can hear inside, mouth can look inside, taste inside. So pratyahar means turning the ahar, not taking the food from outside, turning inward. After that you sit down. Dharana. Dharana means simply focusing on something. Either it's a point thing, either it's something else. One thing. When dharana, for seconds you do dharana, minutes after that when your dhyana, your concentration goes little longer, it becomes dharana dhyan, and after dhyan you go into the samadhi, means for hours you get lost, and that is called enlightenment. That is where you learn about the ultimate nature of your mind. The reason I'm explaining you, our rishis, remember the knowledge you wanted to develop, you said for this inner world, outer world we said joining dots again, you throw here law of gravity, and you want to develop the same laws for inner world. If you want to develop the same laws of inner world, you have to quiet your mind down to a subtle level where you can see your own reality. At that moment of time, the knowledge comes in your mind is the true knowledge. It is righteous, and that knowledge is eternal. So remember two characteristics of this knowledge. What is the characteristics of this knowledge? Number one, it will be eternal. Eternal means Sanskrit word called Sanatan, right? Always right, righteous, or called dharma. So Sanatan Dharma. So what that simply means, at that moment of time, whatever knowledge you develop is eternal and right. And that's the word in Sanskrit called Sanatan Dharma, and that is your religion name, Sanatan Dharma. So you are developing the laws for insight. And whenever you do this, you come up with the knowledge and you call it. They said, what do we call? If I'm sitting in this meditative absorption state, I come up with the knowledge. What do I call it? And they say, call it Veda, right? Call it Veda. And what is Veda? Veda means Sanskrit knowledge. So they started documenting this knowledge, and that knowledge they documented in this book called Veda. Right? So then you will say, okay, Rajbhai, we understood that our religion, what we call is Sanatan Dharma. But then what is this Hinduism all about? What is Hinduism, right? So what happened, at some point of time, people started coming. This is Himalayan mountains. And when the snow started melting, people started coming from Iran, Arab, all this side. So Iranian, specifically when they came, the Persians, they could not pronounce the word called Indu, because this is the Sindhu river flowing here. 8-kilometer wide Sindhu rivers. So they used to say, these guys, we don't know what they are doing. They practice something. They have too many deities and all that. They said the people who live on the other side of Sindhu, they could not pronounce Sindhu, S. They used to pronounce it H. So over time it became the people who live on the other side of Indus river, or Indu. They are Indu people. Indu became Hindu. That's how we got the name Hinduism. The original name of Sanatan Dharma, original name of Hinduism is Sanatan Dharma, eternal laws. That is the name. And eternal laws, as we said, now we are going into the journey of our scriptures. So our rishis, remember what did they do? They discovered laws, they documented them in the books called Veda using the technique called yoga. Do you get this part, or any question so far? Has everyone grasped this? Because it is very important. The knowledge we have come today in this world is through the technique of yoga. And from there on, we are going into the journey of the scriptures. So they started basically developing this knowledge. They started documenting the first book of humanity. There is no such book exist before this called Veda. You can Google it. I am claiming this with 100%. You can go anywhere. You can ask anybody. Vedas came in writing later on. They were oral tradition. So they were recited continuously, one generation after other generation. So first book came in existence called Rig Veda. Say with me, Rig Veda. Rig Veda. How many verses are there? 10,552 verses are there. 400 rishis or scientists have verified the knowledge. And this has 10 mandala, 10 different chapters. So this is the first book of humanity. It has the laws. This is where Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism starts. Later on, other books came in existence. The next book came is called Yajurveda. Say with me, Yajurveda. Yajurveda. 1975 mantras are there again, right? So, and then came Samaveda, musical form of singing. 1875 mantras came in existence, Samaveda. Right? And after that came the Atharveda, the last one, 5,977 mantras in the Atharveda. That is total 20,379 mantras in 4 books, and 861 rishis or scientists have verified that information. After that, thousands of other people, what modern science does? You do a research, you write a paper, then later on people verify this information. Similarly, these laws have been verified, not only 1, 2, 3, thousands of people, time tested. Time tested. How many years we believe? This book, easily one can go back to before Ramayana period. Now the research is saying Ramayana 12,209 BC. So before Rama's period, 15,000 years back, we can easily say with confidence. But we believe they are way longer than that. Okay, so this is the primary book of Hinduism. Now what you have got, basically the knowledge which was developed by Hindus is using the technique of yoga, because yoga allows you to connect with the universe, with the internal mind. That's where you develop this knowledge. And then the first book came in existence called Veda, right? Okay, then you say, okay, did they stop right there after Veda? Did they write more books or not? So that's where let's understand this. So after this, the next book came, right? If Veda is orange, right? Veda is orange, too much work, right? You have to peel them, you have to clean them, then you have to chew them, right? So what about, I don't want to do all the work, I just want the juice, right? So Veda and this orange versus juice. So what is the juice of this Veda? Or another way to understand, if this is the Veda book, right? I am not interested in learning this full one chapter, that many 20 pages. Can you summarize this page? Okay, let me summarize that page. And what do I do at that page? At the end, I attach this page saying summary, right? So if this is the portion called Veda and this is end, what is end in Sanskrit or Hindi? Ant. So Veda plus Ant. Veda plus Ant is Vedant. Vedant Nam Upanishad Pramanam. So next set of book came in existence. Summary book of Vedas called Upanishad. Say this word with me. Upanishad. Upanishad. Upanishad came in existence. How many are there? 120 plus. 108 principal Upanishad. First 10 Upanishad came in existence. Isha Ken Kath Prashna Mundak Mandu Ke Etriya Tetriya Brihadaranyaka Chandogya. 10 Upanishads so famous because Adi Guru Shankaracharya came from Kerala. He wrote commentaries. In the 7th century, he wrote the commentaries on it. Bhashyam. This is the 9 Upanishad he wrote commentaries. Very famous book. You should have this in hand. And you know how much it cost? Only 300 rupees. Gita Press, Gorakhpur. So basically, let's again summarize. We said first came 4 books, then came other books, 120 plus Upanishad. They are summary book of Vedas or Upanishad. And what is interesting is that the Niels Bohr, Heisenberg, Schrodinger, all these quantum mechanics guys, they read Vedas. And Vedas and Upanishad, they were the fond of Upanishad. I read them every day. Upanishads are so close to quantum mechanics. I can call them, they are the basically cryptic or poetic form of quantum mechanics. They are the one who can explain you who am I. They are the one who can explain you where the universe came, where we are going, how this functions and everything. These are the 108 books of this. So 2 set of book we discovered. What was the first one? Vedas. What was the second one? Upanishad or Vedanta. Okay, let's take this journey further. Remember this again. Orange versus juice. Okay, that's how we understood. Okay, so we talked about 120. This is the list of each Veda have this kind of summarize. And there is a Upanishad called Muktiko Upanishad. Say with me, Muktiko. Muktiko Upanishad. That Upanishad list 108 Upanishad as a list. It provides you a list. Okay, so this is where we come. Then comes people over time, they said, Veda is too much. We don't want to read the Veda. It's too much of reading, Rajbhai. Can you simplify in some kind of, who is the person walking on this planet at that moment of time following the message of Veda? Is there any person? They come across a person called Rama. 12209 BC, Rama came in existence. That was the day of Ram Ravan Yuddha. Rama's life always followed the life of Veda. So there is an epic or Itihasa or history has been written in his name. So next set of book came in existence called Ramayana with 24,000 verses, 7 kandas in it. So next set of book came in existence called Ramayana. And what happened? Time has passed now. We are traveling from 14,000 to 7,000 in time now. Time has passed. People have become little corrupt. People are fighting. Families are fighting. They say, still, on that moment of time, 7,000 years back, who are the people still following the life according to Veda? They looked at families this time. So the one family called Pandavas, Yudhishthir, always speaking truth, right? So next set of book came in existence called Mahabharat. 100,000 slokas in it, Mahabharat. There are 1,250 versions of Mahabharat. 125 million slokas of Mahabharat. Part 6th is the Bhishma Parva. Out of that 700 slokas you take out and that becomes Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. So let me summarize again. First book came in existence called Veda. Second came Upanishad. Story format, first came Ramayana, then came Mahabharat, right? How big is the Mahabharat? You take the Greek epic got Iliad and Odyssey, join them together, multiplied by 4 times. That is the big Mahabharata. If you want to read one book in today, read Mahabharata. That is my suggestion to you. Not even I would say Ramayana. Read Mahabharata. That is more relevant today. Okay. So now we talked about the history epic, 2 books, Ramayana and Mahabharata. So then came, people started listening again. He said, Rajbhai, too much reading. You're talking about read Ramayana, 24,000 slokas, Mahabharata, 100,000 slokas. Can you tell us the whole thing in small story format? We just want to hear stories. People love stories. Just in 5 minutes, one story done. Can that story still give me the message of Veda? Vedavyas, our rishis were very intelligent. They were working with the time. That's why we call Hinduism is an evolving religion, evolving dharma, because they changed themselves. So they started developing another set of books called Puran. Puran means nothing. In Sanskrit, Puran means English story, kahani. That's all Puran means. Puran means Purani. So Puran came in existence. How many of them? 220 plus Puran. And how do you know Puran? You are following Puran. 80% of the knowledge of Hinduism today travels with these books called Puran. And how do you know you are following Puran and you're reading the message of Veda? Example. How many of you have done or participated in something called Satyanarayan Puja? Lot of you, right? So where does Satyanarayan Puja comes? There are 220 plus Puran, 18 Mahapuran, big one. Out of that, the largest Puran called Skanda Puran, 81,000 slokas. Out of that, there is a chapter book called Reva Khand. And out of that comes the story of Sri Satyanarayan Bhagavan. So you are reading Satyanarayan Bhagavan's story, message is Vedas. That's how the Purana tradition started. 80% of Hinduism today known by story format, and that's where it came. So 18 Mahapuranas, then Uppurana, total 220 plus Puranas. Okay, so that's another one. Now, Bhagavad Gita. What is Bhagavad Gita, right? You get confused. What did we say about this? If the Vedas are like orange, then Upanishad, they are like juice. So what is Bhagavad Gita? If you don't want to drink orange, what do you want to have? Tell me. Who can give me this answer?
Supplement.
Toffee, supplement, vitamin, vitamin C, vitamin. So Bhagavad Gita is like a vitamin. You don't need to read all of that. Just read 700 slokas. Just read 20,379 out of that. Then you have 108 Upanishads. Just read 700. So easy. And if you don't, and majority will say, हमारे पास तो किताब भी नहीं है घर में. भाई ऋषि क्या करेंगे तुम्हारा ऐसे आंख खोल के तुमको एकदम सामने थोड़ी ला सकते हैं. So you have to make some effort, right? So this is where basically the Vedas. And another way of understanding relationship with Veda, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita is this. This is the Veda is the cow, Upanishads are in the juice, the milk in the belly of the cow, and Gita is the juice here. And who is milking for you? Krishna. All you have to do is drink. So easy. Just drink. Just take this Bhagavad Gita, read and drink. Drink the milk of Veda, That's simple. Such a simple way. So this is where we basically now comes some interesting part. Okay, Rajbhai, we understood so far. Understood this. But then, I am sitting in this temple. It comes from a person, Bangladesh, right? And it's a great culture and everything. But then I go to ISKCON. Then I go to Swaminarayan. Oh, I go to Brahma Kumari. So many sects, how they are related? How do you trace them? We're confused. Don't worry, I'm here. Okay, so how do you do this? So what happens? Remember, what did we say? Vedas, Ant is, summary is Vedant, which is Upanishad. So Upanishads, when you look at the Upanishads, and there are 3 books called Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is another book. You join them 3, we call them Prasthantrayi. It's a typical word. Say with me, Prasthantrayi. Prasthantrayi. So triple canon we call. Ek top hai na, uske 3 muh hai. That's what we have. 3. If you join them together, you call them one school called School of Vedanta. Now the School of Vedanta is dividing further. Advait Vedanta, Sankaracharya. He developed the school called Advait Vedanta. Advait means there is no 2 people, only one. In this universe, there is only one thing, reality, which is Atman or Brahman or consciousness. But then Dvait Vedanta, the Vishnu Sampradaya comes. They come up, Madhavacharya. They said, no, there is me and the Vishnu Bhagavan. Like that, Vishishtadvait, Dvaitadvait, Suddhadvait, Achintya Bhedabhed, and the Swaminarayan sect comes as well. At the end, Swaminarayan sect comes, Swaminarayan Bhagwan Akshar Purushottam. Again, triple canon originated from here. See how dots are connected. So if you look at this Veda book, it's sitting somewhere here. Summary of that Veda is Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita is again summary of that. Brahma Sutra is another sutra form summary. All of them get divided into these things. And there is something called Vishishtadvait. Then there is further divided. There is a Gaudiya Sampradaya. Out of that, even further, that's Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya. Out of that somewhere comes ISKCON. Like that, you can trace all these sects of Hinduism back to something like Vedanta philosophy. See how the organizations have evolved. So you can also read these, you can develop your own sect, because latest edition is Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan. So this is how we have. So then you say, okay, Rajbhai, we understood so far. Are there more texts of Hinduism? Are there more? Okay, so let's go into this. Agamas. There is another book called Agam Tantra. Agamas are, how big are Agamas? There are three types: Shiva, Vaishnava, Sakta. Three of them, right? How big are these? Just take one of them. Remember, Agamas, then Shiva Agama. If I just take Shiva, one of them, Shiva has five. Shivas have five mouth, five faces, right? Out of these five faces, one of them called Ishan. Out of that, there is one is Kamika. Kamika alone has 10 to the power 20 verses. 10 to the power 20 parardh. You just keep adding. Parardh means 10 million trillion. Unfortunately, that much knowledge is not there. Only the book exists in a short form, but still thousands of books. The temple architecture, how to build temple, all of them are in Kamika Agamam. The Rama Mandir which is being built is based on this Kamika Agam and various Agam Tantra. Architecture and everything is there. And what is interesting, till this date, the entire Ram Mandir, there is not even any kind of cement or joinery. There, the technique is thousands of years old. The bricks are basically, the stones are carved such a way they are put on top of each other without any joints, without any cement. Exactly, and that technique is thousands of years old. Our temples are there for 2,500, 2,000 years and all that. So Hindu scriptures, right? Summarize this, Rajbhai, again for us. Okay, let me summarize. Two categories, Shruti, Smriti. Shruti means the one, remember what did we say? If you're sitting in the yoga posture, whatever knowledge comes to you, at that moment of time we call them Shruti. Smriti is basically the one which you're sitting but you're using your own logic. So these are the Smritis. So like the Veda, the Puranas, Agamas, all of them are Smriti texts. Then you have Shruti texts, Veda, all the Vedas, Upanishad, Upvedas and all of them. So you can Google it out later on when you join eYogi Gurukul. We can give you entire thing on it. But this is how we classify the whole. Now comes the big question, right? Rajbhai, you gave us the whole, nice, all the scriptures, what we have. How many are there? So now I ask you guys, you guess. Now who want to guess? Not the eYogi Gurukul people. They know already. Yes? Yes. But how many are there books? Huh? That's it. Fourth. इससे ज़्यादा तो मैं यहाँ रखा हूँ. How many books are there for Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma or Indian civilization in last 10,000 years? Roughly, guess. Huh? Million, okay. Who else? Billion is too much. Yes? Huh? Countless. Yes, they are countless, but is there a number you can pick? So, 1 crore. Exact bang on. Okay. So, Indian Manuscript Institute. There is an institute, Government of India has established Indian Manuscript Institute. It has counted, it's still counting because a lot of books have been destroyed. Remember the Nalanda University, 9 million were destroyed. A lot of them, because of the Mughal invasion, people hide those books in somewhere and they have died. So books are gone. But still, Tadpatra and all that, we are still finding 10 million scriptures of Hinduism, of Sanatan Dharma. 10 million. Now the question is, and 80% of them haven't even seen the daylight. They are still to be explored. The amount of knowledge what you see is like you will take 1,000 lifetime just to understand the whole thing. So 10 million. Then you will say, okay, you know what, Rajbhai, I understand 10 million. Compare it with the modern world. How many books have been written by modern world? So how many books have been written by modern world? Until 2011, UNESCO used to count these books. And how many they counted? They counted 120 million. After that, my estimate is 2 to 3 million every year. So modern world, with all the advent of printing press, they have only written 200 million unique books so far. I may be wrong, probably 100 million. I say 300. Your ancestors have written 10 million before 18th century by hand. Isn't that amazing? Like just by hand. There was no printing press those days. And majority of them have just one copy. So what they contain, like, it's such a vast scriptures. So the summary of this, what I'm telling you, Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma is the oldest living religion or a way of life, because remember, religion is a very narrow word to describe Hinduism, because religion means believe. We don't believe in anything. We question everything. So Hinduism is a dharma, means all the laws which are always right. Okay. Then it is older than 15,000 years. Hinduism has over 10 million scriptures. Hindus, most rites, ritual practices have deep science behind it. Understand what the science is. And Hinduism promotes peace, prosperity, justice, equality, environment protection, integration, and coexistence. Hinduism is the need of hour. You want that kind of practices which are rational, science based, logic and everything. So what is our role, right? So what should we do? Here I comes with some twist. Oh, not this one. So read this. So here's the question. आप लोग अपने गांव गए, वहां पर आपको जो है गांव में आपको एक बॉक्स मिला, राइट, फुल ऑफ बुक्स. What should you do? This is your house, ancestor's house, and it is full of books. What should you do? And you ask your parent, right? Especially the kids, like you ask your parent, who wrote these books? And people will say, oh, that was your grandfather, they wrote. मेरे दादाजी ने किताबें लिखी है. Would you read them or not? दादाजी ने लिखी है तो पढ़ना है ना, एक बार तो बनता है ना. Who has written these books? ये कौन थे ऋषि हमारे? दादा के दादा के दादा के दादा के दादा के, कहते जाओ ऐसे. They are your ancestors. You are carrying their blood in your genes right now. Look at your धमनियों में अपने रक्त को पहचानो. तुम्हारे अपने पूर्वजों की किताबें हैं. If you are discarding them, who else will read them? ये तुम्हारे अपने ancestors हैं, तुम्हारे अपने दादा हैं, तुम्हारे अपनी दादियां हैं. They have written these books. It is our duty to read them. Duty to read them. So when you go India, bring as many books you can this time. Start reading. Then only your eyes will open towards this Sanatan Dharma, right? Then the next question comes is this. This is my final phase of presentation. So what I am asking you is very simple. All of you, यहाँ पर आए 5,000 मील दूर अपने देश से. You built your house, गाड़ी ली, और उसके बाद जो है इमिग्रेशन की जर्नी कंप्लीट हुई, बैंक में पैसा भी आया, गाड़ी ली, मकान बनाया. You build the house, you build everything, the comfort and conveniences, whatever you needed today. You are a successful person, have a good job, wife, 2 बच्चे, everything is going well. Successful person, good. What is the success? This success, what you have achieved, how much percentage is belong to you and how much percentage belong to... Oh, no, I'm not using this. Okay. Yeah, okay. So how much percentage of that belongs to you? Probably your parents, because they helped you, right? How much? Can anybody throw me a number? 100% to yours, or? Okay, but you are still worked, right? Anybody can throw a number between you and your father or something else. What will be the percentage? Huh? 80, right? 80% mine, 20% there, something like that. Now think about this. If you were not born in India, you were born in Ethiopia, Somalia, or some other countries like, Syria, would you have got that success? ये कौन सी चीज है? That's what I'm asking you. ये कौन सी चीज है जिसमें आपके माँ बाप आपके लिए जमीन गिरवी रख देते हैं, आपके लिए अपनी पेंशन गिरवी रख देते हैं, आपकी मदर आपके जेवरात को जो है बेच देती है अपने आपको पढ़ाने के लिए? Does this culture anywhere exist anywhere else? only exists in there. So what we are saying is, मेरे parents ने जो knowledge लेके जो मुझे पढ़ाया, जो dedication है, that is not theirs as well, right? वो उनके parents से आई, उनके parent को उनके parent ने दी. तो क्या है ये? This is the knowledge of Indic civilization, Indian civilization. If you understand that, this is what we call the Indian knowledge system. This is what the Indian knowledge system, when I talk about Veda, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharat, Puran, इनकी जो stories हैं, ये stories ही तो motivate करती हैं पूरा culture, पूरा civilization. When you have this Indian knowledge system, the entire, on top of that you have built your this thing called sixth school of Vedanta, which was, we talked about that. And after that, the Vedanta, after that, the Hinduism sect, and that is where you come as an individual and the top. If you take all of them out, you are just an individual, you will fall apart. तो ये क्या है? ये, see, think this way. This is my last segment, right? हम क्या हो गए हैं? What we are today, we are saying we will take every benefit out of this entire knowledge system ourselves, क्योंकि मेरे पिताजी ने लोन लिया मेरे लिए पढ़ाने के लिए, मुझे यहाँ मास्टर्स करने के लिए भेजा. But my child, I will do for him. But is your child going to do for his or her child? So what is that thing you will pass down, that your child also does it for his child? This is it. This is the culture, these books, this knowledge, this civilization, all the civilizational knowledge जो हमारी है, अगर आपने इसका benefit लिया है, don't become so selfish that it should die with me. It has to carry on. Who will do it? There are no yogis left in today. There are no sadhus left. You are the only person. So Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, do what you can. But after 5 o'clock, make sure the knowledge you have learned about Sanatana Dharma, pass it down to the next generation. And that is where this organization like eYogi Gurukul comes in picture. But this is what I call is civilizational debt. आपने अपने पेरेंट्स को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए उन्होंने जो करा है, उनको एक ट्रिप देते हैं, यहाँ के लिए घुमाते हैं, उनको हॉलीडे लेके जाते हैं, दैट इज योर पितृ ऋण और फादर्स डेट और मदर्स डेट, राइट? फॉर बच्चों के लिए जो काम करते हैं वो बच्चों का ऋण है. बट देयर इज 80% व्हाट योर टुडे सक्सेस डिपेंड्स ऑन द सिविलाइजेशनल डेट. ये आपकी सभ्यता का ऋण है, इसको चुकाना है. एंड देयर इज 1% हु हैज डन दिस वेरी वेल, सभ्यता का ऋण. See this platform, और से फर्स्ट तक, who has given us? विश्वजीत भाई. He has paid his debt. Very well he has paid. उन्होंने पे कर दिया. ये जो हमारे priest हैं, they are selflessly coming here 12 o'clock, वो प्रे कर रहे हैं अपना, every संडे को 12 बजे यहाँ पहुँच जाते हैं, वो अपना civilizational debt प्रे कर रहे हैं. हम कैसे कर रहे हैं? मेजोरका जा रहे हैं, स्पेन में घूम रहे हैं. So time has come to realize that we also need to pay our civilizational debt. सभ्यता का ऋण है, इस knowledge को next level पे transfer करते जाना है. With this, all of it, I am trying to finish this talk here. So let me recite the Sahno Bhavatu mantra and we'll finish. And after that, here one of the eYogi Gurukul member will. I hope you like this talk. So. ओम सहनो भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विना अवधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम तत्सत. श्री राम कृष्णाय अर्पणमस्तु. थैंक यू.